You slip out of your mother somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, and the current pushes you sideways before you can do anything about it. Your mother comes around and nudges you upward with her rostrum, so you kick your tail and follow her toward the surface. You break through and take your first breath, then drop back under and stay close to her side. The bottlenose pod is around you, but none of them come close. You're bigger than the other calves, and they keep their distance, circling wide and watching. Then one juvenile breaks from the group and comes in fast, ramming its body into your side and knocking you away from your mother. You try to push back toward her, but your tail isn't coordinated yet, so your body turns sideways and you lose direction. Your mother cuts back through and drives the juvenile away with her body, putting herself between you and the group. But while she's facing them, a second juvenile comes in from the other side and hits you hard enough to push you under. You lose the surface and start dropping with your tail pushing in the wrong direction, so you flip your body around and kick upward until you break through again. Your mother comes back and holds alongside you, with her body pressing close to keep you steady. The pod doesn't come any closer after that, but they don't come near you either. They move as a one group a few body lengths away, with the juveniles staying at the edge and watching. Your mother keeps you close for the rest of the day, with her body always between you and the others. You stay at the surface and keep kicking, getting stronger with each pass. But the pod never closes the gap, and by the time the light drops low across the water, you and your mother are moving at the edge of the group alone. You're 8 months old now. Your mother has stopped feeding you directly, and instead she leads you toward the fish and pulls away before you can follow her in. You watch her herd a school of mackerel against the surface, cutting wide arcs around them to keep them tight, and then driving through the middle with her mouth open. You try to copy the same wide arc, but your body is slower to turn than hers, so the fish scatter through the gap before you get close enough. Then a false killer whale appears from below, coming up fast and leveling out beside your mother without slowing. It's much larger than both of you, with a broader body and a heavier head, and it moves into the hunt like it's done this 1,000 times. It swings wide on the opposite side of the school from your mother, so the fish have nowhere to go, and they ball up tight at the surface. Your mother drives through, and the false killer whale follows in a straight line behind her, with its mouth closing over a group of fish in one pass. You watch the pattern from the edge, then line up behind the false killer whale and copy the straight line rather than the wide arc. The fish are already balled up, so you drive through the middle and close your mouth over the first solid group you reach. That's your first hunt. You swallow and turn back around, and the false killer whale is still there, holding its position and watching you. It stays alongside you and your mother for the rest of the day before dropping away and going under. You've learned how to eat, but you don't know yet which of these two worlds is going to keep you. You're 2 years old now. The pod has been moving further along the coast for days, following a current that pulls them steadily north, and at some point, the direction changes and the group pulls away faster than you can match. You follow for as long as your body lets you, but the gap grows, and then they're gone and the water around you is open in every direction. You spend the next few days covering wide stretches of ocean on your own, moving in the direction the current was going and watching for other animals. You find a bottlenose group after a while and drop into the water beside them, staying at the edge and matching their pace, but the larger males in the group angle towards you every time you get close to the others. And after 2 days, a big male swings around and rams you hard in the side, driving you out wide and then circling back to the group without following. So you leave and keep going. A few days later, you cross into a stretch of open water where 3 false killer whales are moving together in a loose line. You fall in behind them, and they let you follow for a while. But one of them drops back, comes alongside you and looks at you, then pushes ahead to rejoin the others. The group picks up speed, and you can't hold their pace, so the gap opens and they pull away. You watch them go, and then turn back to the open water. You're covering more ocean than anything else around you, but nothing you've found has a place for you yet, and there's a lot of Pacific left to cross. You're 3 years old now. You've built a pattern across a wide stretch of open water, working the same productive areas and tracking where the fish move through the week. One afternoon, a tiger shark comes into your feeding area and drives straight through the school you've been building toward, scattering them before you can get close. It takes what it wants and then turns and holds its position in the water, watching you instead of leaving. You need this area to keep eating, so backing away isn't something you can afford. You circle wide around it, staying out of range and watching the way its body is positioned. Then you decide to move. You come in fast from the side, drive your rostrum into its flank, and angle away before it can turn. It swings around and comes after you, so you cut sideways and come back around. It turns toward you again, but slower this time, with its body taking longer to angle around. So you line up a third time, come in from below and ahead of it, and hit it again near the same spot on its flank. The shark holds position for a moment, then turns away from you and moves out of the area with its tail pushing it steadily into open water. You've seen bottlenose dolphins do this together, passing a shark back and forth between them until it gives up. But you did it alone, working out the angles by yourself and not stopping until it left. You go back to hunting, and the fish are already starting to group up again. But the ocean is big, and things come through your range without warning, and not everything that arrives will be willing to leave. You're 6 years old now. A bottlenose pod has moved into your range, traveling through on their way along the coast, and you drop in at the edge of their group and match their pace. The females don't break away, but the males position themselves on either side of you and angle their bodies inward, keeping you away from the rest of the group without making direct contact. You stay alongside them for a long stretch of open water, waiting for the formation to loosen. Then one female moves slightly wide of the group, putting some distance between herself and the nearest male, so you angle toward her and draw alongside. She doesn't pull away, but the two nearest males are already turning, coming around on either side and pushing their bodies between you and her, then driving you outward with steady, coordinated pressure. They push you wider and wider until there's enough distance between you and the group that they stop and hold position. You turn back toward open water. You're bigger than the males and stronger than most of what's in this pod, but size doesn't matter here. They're working together, and you're not part of the system they're running. You've crossed paths with bottlenose groups before, and it always ends the same way. False killer whales haven't worked out either. You exist somewhere in the middle of both, and neither one has a space that fits your shape. But the ocean keeps moving, and so do you, and not every crossing has to end in rejection. You're 9 years old now. Over the last few years, you've started going deeper than the bottlenose dolphins in your range ever do, following prey down into layers of the ocean that most things around you don't reach. Today, a large mahi-mahi is moving fast below you, dropping further with every pass, and you need to eat, so you go after it. You chase it down through the water column, kicking hard to close the gap, and catch it well below where you normally hunt. But the way back up takes longer than the chase did. Your body starts moving slower as you rise, and your strokes take more effort with each one, so you angle your path into a wide spiral and let the shape of the turn help carry you up. You reach the surface and stay there for a while, with your breathing coming in long, slow pulls until your body levels out. But the dive showed you something. There's prey at those depths that nothing else in your range is going after. The mahi-mahi, large squid, and deep-running fish are all moving through those layers with nothing hunting them from above. So over the next few weeks, you go back down again and again, staying a little longer each time and learning where the prey holds and how it moves. You build a pattern down there that belongs to you and nothing else in this part of the ocean. You eat better than you have in years, but going that deep takes more out of your body each time. And the deeper you go, the less margin you have if something goes wrong on the way back up. You're 14 years old now. A group of false killer whales has come into your range during a large fish migration, and within a day they've taken over the most productive feeding area you've spent years building. There are 7 of them working as a unit, cutting wide coordinated passes across the surface and pushing the fish into tight groups before driving through. Every time you approach, 2 of them break off and angle toward you, pushing you back to the edge without stopping their hunt. You try coming in from multiple directions over 2 days, but they cover the surface too well, and there's always one of them between you and the fish. So you go down instead. You drop below the level where they're working and come up underneath the school from below, driving upward through the middle before they can react. The fish scatter sideways, but some of them come straight up, and you take several in one pass before the false killer whales can adjust. You drop back down and do it again from a different angle, coming up inside the school's edge while the group above is still repositioning. You eat well for 3 days using this approach, working underneath the false killer whales while they hold the surface. Then the migration moves further along the coast and the group follows it north, clearing out of your range within a day. Your area comes back to you and the remaining fish settle back into their usual patterns. The approach you built down there stays with you long after the false killer whales are gone, and you use it every time a large group moves through and tries to push you out. You've made your range work for you, but the ocean keeps sending things through it, and not all of them come for the fish. You're 18 years old now. You're crossing a wide stretch of open water between 2 feeding areas, moving at a steady pace with your body cutting forward through the water. Then shapes appear ahead of you, coming in from multiple directions and closing the distance fast. Short-finned pilot whales. You've crossed into the middle of a group that's been moving along the same route, and they're already in formation before you can change direction. 3 of them cut across your forward path and hold position, so you turn to go around them, but 2 more are coming in from behind and angling to close that gap. You need to get under them, so you drive downward hard and kick toward the gap below the group. But these ones follow you down, dropping with you and matching your angle. One of them comes in from the side and hits you hard with its body, knocking you sideways and sending you into a slow roll. You try to kick out of it and angle back up, but before you can straighten out, a second one comes from below and drives its rostrum into your underside. Your body folds around the hit, and your tail stops working the way it should. You try to push upward, but your strokes aren't connecting the way they need to, so the surface stays above you and the distance doesn't close. You turn once more, slowly, with your body drifting sideways as the water moves around you. Then you stop turning. You go still, and you sink into the deep water that you spent years learning to use, and it takes you all the way down.